Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life, Season 2! We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationship. And on this week's season premiere, we're talking about New Year's resolutions.
Season 2! Season 2! Season 2!
Season 2! I'm so excited.
I am so excited as well. We're in a new studio.
Can you believe this studio?
I'm absolutely obsessed. If you're watching, you can see what's going on. If you are just listening, let me give you a little descriptor. On Jordan's side, we have the famous Furby. We have the girl gremlin. Pretty much everything that I wanted out of our house. So I use this as a perfect moment to make it a part of our set.
And Kendahl has a stack of lesbian books, a photo of us in a beautiful picture frame we just bought in our trip to Europe. And then in the center, we have a photo of our dog, Angel.
Angel. Oh, we're starting a new studio this year. I feel like are living the true meaning of New Year, New Us.
Truly. And we kicked that off with a deep, deep clean of our apartment. We have cleaned and are in the process of cleaning every single nook, cranny, corner, drawer of the entire space.
And it was one of those things we've been planning. I mean, Jordan's very organized, so they put it on our calendar, 6 months ago. Every single day, what we would be cleaning, what we're going to be doing. But even when you would look at it, you would be like, is this going to happen? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we famously bite off more than we can chew. So we would have, on this Friday over the break, we're going to clean out this drawer. We're going to put this film over the window that makes it so people can't see inside. We're going to clean out under our bed. And you're just like, what if this is really going to get done? I think we have gotten not only everything done we wanted to get done, but more.
I think way more.
And then add on top of it, the most exciting part of the deep clean is that I found a painting on the street.
It's so beautiful. It matches the color of our house perfectly.
It's insane. It was made, the size of it, there's one spot in our house that's over our dining room table that was just a blank wall. We didn't know what to do with it. And it was kind of like intimidating because it's like whatever we put there really represents this house.
It's like the first thing you see when you walk in the front door.
And it's over our kitchen table. It just feels like an intimidating spot to put a painting. It is perfect. It fits perfectly. It matches our aesthetic so well. And it's not a print, might I add.
It is a hand-painted on canvas, stretched over wood, framed, signed painting. It is not a replica. It's not a photograph. It is an original. It looks like a Kincaid painting if you're familiar, but it's a little different. It's done in like a little bit of a different style. I think probably what happened is someone is a painter or was in a painting class, was like, take a famous painting and then paint it in your own style. They did that with this Kincaid painting.
Yeah.
And then gave it to their girlfriend, and then they broke up, and then their girlfriend put it in the trash.
Well, and I'm so happy they did. But it was one of those moments where, when people are just not giving you the response you want. I posted a photo of the painting to my Instagram. I felt like I was expecting millions of people to be rolling in my DMs being like, oh my God. I was expecting calls from family being like, where did you get that? That's so beautiful. We sent a photo of it in our family group chat. No one really seemed to care.
Everyone was like, cool.
And that always just hurts so much, doesn't it? When you're expecting such a huge reaction and you don't get it.
It's like when you show someone a TikTok and you're like, this is so funny. And then you make them watch the TikTok and they just watch it silent, no laughter. And you're like, well, okay, I guess we have to stop speaking forever now.
I saw this TikTok the other day that I showed you because I related to it so much where it was like, the devil couldn't reach me. So he gave me a wife that reads at a third grade reading level. So whenever I show her a TikTok, it takes her so long to understand the joke. And I'm like, that is me. Every time you show me something, I don't laugh and then you go to pull it away. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm on word number 4.
Yeah.
But what's the best part of our home cleaning that you felt like is so satisfying?
Other than the painting, I cleaned out a drawer by our front door and then reorganized it. So now it has all of our keychains, all of the things that you would use to refill your purse. So like mini lotions, hand sanitizer, anything like that. And then our Crocs gibbets. And that feels really good to me.
Can I say something that I think has really helped our year? Because I think we've started out this new year just killing it. Like, I feel like we're doing all the things that for so long we've been like, I really want to be the type of person who does this. Even just little things where we're always like, I feel like we're always running late. And I feel like we really have always been like, I wish that like we were the type of people where 30 minutes before we were ready and we could really get our purse together and like lotion ourselves, like stupid things, you know? And I feel like the first 6 days of the year, we've really done it. I feel like it's because you have been doing your little vlogs.
I am doing Vloganuary, where I vlog every day of January on YouTube and on TikTok. It really has motivated me to do things that I normally wouldn't do.
Well, and it's motivated, I'm not even in the vlogs, and it's motivated me because I think I think there's something so cheesy about romanticizing your life.
Yeah.
But I do think there is, truth to it, where it's like I could just go to the gym, or I could pack a really cute gym bag and bring my books so I can read in the sauna. I could,
We have to stop there for 1 second because Kendahl keeps talking about reading in the sauna. How are you reading in a sauna? Doesn't it get your books soaking wet?
Well, to be honest, I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about doing it.
Oh, I don't think that's going to work.
I see all the ladies on TikTok do it.
The ladies on TikTok are reading in the
They
sauna.
always read in the sauna.
The sauna is a room full of steam.
I've been in a sauna.
Books are made of paper.
I understand. I think I need to only bring books that I really like, that I'm planning on keeping forever, into the sauna, because you're right about that. Although, I don't know, people read in Florida, and I feel like a sauna is less humid than Florida.
No, a sauna is not less humid than Florida.
I don't know. I went there one time, and it was really humid.
It's very humid, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, who are all these people reading in the sauna?
I'm telling you.
I can't be in a sauna.
Yeah.
It's too hot and humid.
It does feel scary. Also, there's a lot of horror stories about saunas exploding. This is true.
What?
I mean, well, let me work. I'm working on this. Speaking of New Year's resolutions, I'm trying to say this. I heard, to my understanding, there's been a couple accidents with saunas where they explode. And the sauna at my gym, the women's sauna always is fine. The men's sauna is always shut down because they hike the temperature way up and it's dangerous.
The sauna explodes how?
I have no idea. No more information, but all I know is it feels tedious. There's a sign in the sauna that says like, don't mess with the temperature of the sauna. And I'm like, who is messing with? First of all, the thought that you want it to be hotter is really disturbing. Because it is really hot. But it does feel a little bit dangerous and scary. But it is really hot. But I do like it. It feels nice.
Are you thinking of a tanning bed?
Who knows what I'm thinking of? But no, I think I'm thinking of a sauna. A tanning bed is obviously dangerous. But I've heard that a sauna, there's been a couple, not many, but like sauna explosions. God, I wish I had more info. God, I wish I had more, but I don't. I just know that there was a couple.
Well, if they exist, I'll try to drop some of those in the Patreon news articles about the sauna explosions so we can all learn more. Thank you for that, Kendahl.
That's so cool.
Now I want to talk about our personal resolutions for 2025. I'm a freak for resolutions. I love them. I do 1 million of them every year. I actually stick to most of them. I find them so motivating and delicious. I love them.
We take our resolutions very seriously at our house. When it is December 15th, I'm like, Jordan, let's get a date on the calendar where we can have an 1.5 hour long meeting where we go through all our resolutions. And you might be going, how could that possibly take an 1.5 hour? Because our resolutions take up 3 pages in a notebook. We have personal resolutions, career resolutions, health resolutions, dog parent resolutions.
Friend resolutions. They're beautiful. It's like a vision board made of words.
Yes. And I think a lot of people be like, that's too much. You're not going to possibly be able to keep. But we do. I feel like we do. Because first of all, I think we make normal resolutions. Our resolutions are never like run a marathon and, lose 300 pounds. It's never anything super crazy. They're just like small little life things that I feel like we've already been trying to implement, but just like haven't done it. And I also feel like I try to really make sure I have that paper in a place that I like can keep with me. Like mine's in the front of my planner. So I have it all year to remind me of it. But we take it really seriously and go through it together. And I really am a big believer in them. But I think a fresh start is helpful. And I believe in it because the first 6 days of this year have been incredible. And I've been a way better person than I was last year already.
Yeah. So what's one of your personal resolutions?
I'm going to learn how to ride a horse. and I am so excited for it. I just had this moment where I've been reading all these Regency era lesbian books, and I'm like, I gotta get on a horse.
Okay.
I think I kept wishing for it. Like, I would see someone on a horse, and I'd be like, I wish I could ride a horse. I would hear about someone who has a horse back in their hometown, and my first instinct would be like, I got to get close to this person so they can take me home for Christmas and I can ride their horse.
That's
and then
how
I
I feel.
realized, are you gonna say it's how you feel about a boat?
Yes, that's how I feel about people who have boats. I'm like, you have a boat, which is like, I don't really think of myself. I don't really care what other people have, and I don't want to spend time around people that I don't like. So there's almost nothing you could do to make me want to spend time with you if I don't enjoy spending time with you. That being said, if I find out you have a nice boat, ooh,
with a tube attached to it,
that could be a game changer. Kendahl, no one's nice boat has a tube attached to it.
Honey,
nice boats do not have tubes.
Oh, you want a yacht?
I don't want a yacht, but I'm
looking for a speedboat with a drunk man with a Bud Light in his hand taking me around the lake.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and I. I want a nice boat.
Oh, good Lord.
Sorry.
Grow up.
Sorry.
Grow up.
I want a nice boat.
I want a grocery store sandwich sitting on the back of a tube being donutted around by a man who should not legally be driving a boat.
Okay, well,
given his alcohol intake.
Okay, well, I want a grocery store sandwich on a nice boat, and I think that's fine.
All right. Well, I saw this post a long time ago that is really true, and it was like the worst thing about being liberal is having no friends who own a boat. And I was like, damn, that's true.
It really is true. I'll say it, boats are conservative propaganda.
Yeah.
They're the only thing that make me want to know anyone who is conservative. And I mean, they brought the colonizers over. They were the original kind of tool of social violence.
And I become a conservative when I get on a boat. If I'm on a boat, I am drinking my first beer I've ever had, and I'm asking for country music to be played.
I will say I like an American flag more when I'm on a boat than when I'm not on a boat.
And it's so unfortunate. None of my friends who are liberal, which is all of my friends, own a boat. And to be honest, it makes me feel like a loser. It makes me feel really like I am like, oh, maybe they do have it figured out that they own boats. Why don't we own boats? I don't understand.
Yeah, what's the one-to-one of being a truly awful person and also getting to have one of the most fun things that exists on planet Earth?
It's really unfortunate. So, yeah, I want to be able to ride a horse. My point in all of this is that I realized, Kendahl, you don't need to make a friend to be able to ride a horse. You can just go ride a horse. And honestly, maybe we need to look inward and realize we could also buy a boat.
Wow.
I mean, we could leave the studio today, Jordan, and go buy a boat.
I don't think we could afford the kind of boat I want. And
we would disagree. We would just buy two boats because I don't want whatever fancy ass boat you're thinking about. I want a wakeboard.
No, what are you even talking about? We would need a nicer boat, and I don't think we could afford a nice boat, and I'm not ready for the upkeep of a boat. I can barely take care of our home, which is a 2-bedroom apartment that's like 800 square feet. How big is our about
1,000 square feet, maybe.
I don't know. I'm so bad at that.
It's square feet?
Yeah.
You don't need to be good at it. It's okay. It's not really a skill that people need to be good at.
Perfect.
What I'll tell you is that I think owning a boat could be kind of like what we've talked about with private jets, where it's like it really doesn't make sense just rent one. Because I will say every person I know who owns a boat, when I was a kid, it would be like, let's take the boat out. And they'd be like, my dad's working on the boat. I was like, well, the boat's always being worked on. The boat's always broken.
It's a lot of upkeep.
What's hard is that if you don't own a boat, if I would be like, okay, I'm going to rent boats, I would need to learn how to drive a boat and get my boating license.
There's a lot that goes into it.
God, that's kind of hot. Me having a boating license?
I could get into that.
All right.
Used to in South Florida, there was a place where you would go and it was like a boat that took you around the water and you could drive the boat if you're a child, and then the captain would like give you a certificate that was like you officially like this is your boating license. So for many years when I was younger, I was like, I'm licensed to drive a boat. Get me out on one of those things. It was just fully fake. It was just a sweet thing for children.
Oh, what's your New Year's resolution?
Intentionality.
Oh, good Lord.
I want everything I do to be more intentional. I want to be working when I'm working. I want to be relaxing when I'm relaxing. I want to be doing more intentional, fun things with my friends. I want us to be going on more dates because I have such a bad habit of always kind of working a little bit. I know it's one of your least favorite things about me, and I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to be like, I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And when I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
There's not like, oh, I'm not working, but I'm going to do a couple emails and I'm going to do XYZ thing and whatever. It's like, no, I need to do better at creating boundaries within my own life.
I think that's amazing. Because I feel like I could work on that too. I feel like we've talked about this a little bit, but last year, I don't know what it was. And I voiced it a lot last year, and I feel like you voiced a similar thing where I was like, I cannot enjoy anything. And I think some might be like, is that depression? I don't feel depressed.
I don't think you have depression.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't have depression. But I just felt kind of like, even if someone was like, I'm taking you to Disneyland for a day and I would still be like, 9 more hours till I'm home. Like and part of me was like, well, I love my home. And that's true. I love my dog. I love my home. I love being home with you. But it also was a real big bummer where I was like, I can't be excited about anything. What is this new? And that feels so unlike me. I feel like famously, I'm very excitable. So I was just bummed. And I don't feel that energy this year. Like we've already done a couple things where I'm like excited to go out to dinner. I'm excited to go out with friends. And I think it is that intentional work time versus hangout time. And I felt like you and I last year would do a lot of, like, we'd make a fun plan, but then when it'd come to it, if it was just you and I, we'd be like, what if we just didn't do that? Because we also could just hang out on the couch together, which is fun and totally is a place. But even like this Tuesday, I'm so excited because at night, Jordan and I are going to make dim sum at home.
I can't wait.
Not only are we excited and planned it, but I think we're going to follow through with it. Like we are going to follow through with it because we're both looking forward to it. And I feel like it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels like somehow we've slowed our life down a little bit and it's really going to make everything feel a lot better. Because I think it was also hard because we were so busy last year and kind of burnt out that was part of it. It was like, oh, now I have to go out to a bar with friends, a thing that should be fun, but I'm so tired that it feels like work. And that sucks.
Yeah. Kendahl, do you want to tell them our couples resolution?
Okay, yes. So the couples resolution we came up with, which is something we've been working on for a while, but I think it's a habit that we're trying to really build, and I think we've been doing really good with so far this year, is when Jordan sees that I've done something wrong, to say, Ken, you forgot to do this thing in a really nice way. And then I am to say, Jordan, thank you for the reminder.
And to be clear, if you're like, why do you have that for Kendahl but not Jordan? This is specifically because Kendahl has very severe ADHD, and that causes her to forget a lot of things. So Kendahl opens every cabinet and has never closed a cabinet.
Never in my life have I closed a cabinet.
Yes, Kendahl Kendahl has a very, very bad memory because of her ADHD. So
she
forgets a lot of stuff.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I forget stuff halfway through the task. So I get out of the shower and I put on my towel and I set on the bed to put my pajamas on. I leave a wet towel on the bed on Jordan's side. So Jordan's side of the bed is now soaking wet. This isn't Jordan being nitpicky. These are sincerely annoying. I go to take out the trash and then I set it down to go get the keys to go outside. I forget and I leave our trash next to the front door. Like things that it's just halfway through the task I've forgotten it. But what we've been trying, problem we've ran into in the past is that I am working on those things very much so and putting things into play. But it also is something I will struggle with. And I think it is something I will always have be a part of me.
Sure.
Like, I will always forget things halfway through the task. I will be a lot better than I used to be, and I'm like medicated now, so that helps. But I was like, I don't want it to become this thing where you resent me more and more because you feel like I'm leaving the wet towel on the bed because I don't care or because I like don't think it matters or it's not annoying and I just am disregarding your feelings. But I also don't want it to become this dynamic where you feel like a nag.
That was my big thing because I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm nagging all the time. And we came to this conclusion because I was like, I don't mind giving you reminders. If you have a bad memory and need reminders, that's totally fine. But when I give you a reminder and then it's met with defensiveness, it makes me feel like a nag. It makes me feel annoying. So I was like, I think what would be nice is if I could give gentle reminders in a nice, positive way, and Kendahl could receive them in a nice, positive way.
Because I think it was a bad cycle where then I would be kind of defensive, so you get irritated, and it would start to become I was being rude in response, but also you would be like, Kendahl, come on, and then that would make me feel annoyed because I'm like, it wasn't out of ill will, like I wasn't trying to forget to do that thing, and I think it makes it easier because I'm able to build a habit. Like I bring up the towel on the bed things. I don't really do that anymore, ever so often maybe, but it used to be a thing I did every time I took a shower.
It was a big point of contention because it would be a soaking wet towel and it would always be left on my side of the bed. I don't even know. You don't even go to my side of the bed. I don't understand.
It just felt right.
It was so rude.
It was rude. But now, and I bring that up now because I don't really do that anymore because it just took me a little longer to build the habit. And so I was like, while I'm building that habit, I don't want us to build so much resentment about that thing, because then once that is resolved, there's going to be a new thing. And I just don't want us to ever be building resentment. So we were trying to find a way to make it to where you can voice because I also didn't want it to be like you have to keep things to yourself.
Well, because the reality of the situation is you will always have severe ADHD.
Yeah.
And you will always have a bad memory. So we have to find a system that we can kind of enact for the rest of forever that feels good. And I don't mind giving reminders. I'll give you reminders until the end of time, as long as you're not upset to be receiving them.
Well, and for me too, it was like there is one thing that I feel like I've been doing pretty good about is resetting the bathroom. And this has been a problem since going back to, if my mom's listening to this podcast, going back to when I was a literal child all through high school. I would leave the bathroom an absolute wreck. Like, I leave the bathroom soaking wet. It's flooded in there. Everything is everywhere. There's 18 towels on the floor. The shower curtain's open. There's conditioner on. It is a nightmare. And so I've really worked on being like, you get out of the shower and you do a stand and scan. I look behind me. I'm like, okay, what are the things I need to do after a shower? And I have to put in a lot of energy. I'm like, okay, I close the shower curtain. I take the hair drain out. I fix that, put the hair drain back. I dry myself off before I get out of the shower.
That's one of the craziest things Kendahl does that I don't even understand. Kendahl fully gets out of the shower without drying herself at all and then leaves the bathroom without drying herself or her hair at all.
I know. Well, when I was a little girl, like 3 and 4, it was a problem where I would jump out of the bath, run around our neighborhood nude. I'm not even kidding.
That should have been put a stop to.
They tried. I was fast. It wasn't that they wanted me to do it. I was out of control.
That you got out of the house?
I was fast. A
child is like, you're supposed to be sitting right next to the bathtub.
She
so
was.
if a child gets up,
slippery.
You should just be able to dunk them back down in there.
That's called drowning a kid.
No, not holding them down, just pushing them back
down.
But
I've always been that way, and that's my natural instinct now. I want to get out and dry off in the natural sun. I want to get outside. That's what I want to do. So I get out of the shower and I just run through our house. I mean, I'm getting a glass of water. I'm petting the dog. I don't know what it is. So now I've talked about this before, so I'll speed through it. But I have this lotion you put on in the shower while you're wet. It dries you. It's amazing. It's from Jergens. Okay? I love it. It's amazing. And then I pat myself dry. So I've worked on all these things. It's taken me over time, whatever. But it used to be Jordan would come in and be like, Kendahl, the bathroom's a mess. And I would go, I'm about to clean it. And it was
a lie.
It was a pet peeve of Jordan's because this would have been 50 minutes after I took a shower. I'm on the couch reading a book nude. Jordan's like, you were about to go back in there and clean it. No, you were not. But for me, that is like, that's a defense mechanism I built over my life of having ADHD where because I desperately don't want to be seen as careless or unthoughtful because I'm not as a person at all. But my ADHD can make me seem that way because I forget things that are important and I leave a mess places after I do something. And that's all giving kind of careless person who is not thinking about other people. And I don't identify with that. So it's always been like trying to show just to be like, no, I was going to do that. Like, I know that's a thing you should do. And I wouldn't just leave that without thinking, but I just forgot. And so I think just being more like this year, knowing each of us are coming from a good place and being like, yeah, I would never purposely leave something in a bad way for you. And you would never want to make me feel bad. You're just trying to help out. So I feel like that's something for us as a couple we're working on.
Yes. And speaking of new, one thing we want to do for this podcast in 2025 and for the rest of forever are segments.
We're so excited about them.
We're so excited about these segments. So the first one we're introducing today that will be a recurring segment is Red Flag, Green Flag, where we each bring a flag, either red or green, depending on the week, and we talk about why it's our flag of the week and what we think about it.
This week, we're doing green flags. So the only thing Jordan and I ever discuss with each other beforehand is if we're doing a red flag or a green flag. So we don't know what the other has brought.
It's true. And then you can discuss in the comment your green flag of the week or what you think about our green flags.
Oh, yes.
So Kendahl, you're first.
We wanted to start with green flags because it's a new year, positivity. Everything is going great. My green flag for this week is about Jordan because I think it is so sweet and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I made one batch of muffins, you guys. I am terrible in the kitchen. Literally never cook, bake, make cocktails. I don't do anything in the kitchen. I'm terrible at it. Jordan was like, I want you to try to make these like coffee cake banana bread muffins. I was like, okay.
I didn't even ask you to make them. I just said I've been dreaming about having like a muffin that is both banana bread and coffee cake because I love a little streusel topping.
Well, and then you sent me a recipe. You really set me up. You made sure I had all my ingredients. We went through it together and I made them. This was a couple days ago. Since I made these muffins, I have heard Jordan say to maybe 10 people, well, Kendahl's kind of the baker of the family. So send her a recipe. She'll make it. She's gotten really into baking. Like, she's so good at baking. You were on the phone with your dad and I heard you go, well, Kendahl's a baker. She's the baker of the family. So she loves to bake. She's a great baker. And then we went out to lunch with these 2 new people we met and they were into food and it was really fun. And we were talking about food and, baking came up and Jordan was like, well, Kendahl's a really good baker. And I just thought it was so precious because I am certainly not. I've truly made one batch of muffins.
But they were spectacular. They were
so
unbelievable.
But Jordan's acting like Jordan was just talking them up for weeks, acting like I was suddenly literally on British baking show. And it was just very sweet, very cute.
You're so sweet. Okay, my green flag is being ready to hop into a challenge or a thing with your partner when they need you to.
Oh, okay, I love that.
Because this week I went to the dentist and I have hereditarily bad teeth. You're like, Jordan, your teeth look good. Well, that's because a lot of my teeth are veneers. They're fake. If you took them off, there's little vampire fangs under there. They had to shave down.
I love those. Sometimes I wish you'd just take the veneers off. I love the little fangs.
It would be really scary. And I have bad teeth and I'm always working on my dental health. So I said, you know what, this year I'm flossing twice a day. I'm brushing 3 to 4 times a day. I'm using a water pick multiple times a week. I really got to step up my gum health specifically. And without even saying anything, Kendahl has also started to do the same. She's coming into the bathroom. She's flossing when I'm flossing. She's like, oh, we got to do the dental routine before bed. She's just immediately jumped into this task that's a thing that I wanted to work on for myself because she wants to help motivate me to do it. And she also sees that it's like beneficial to her. And I'm so much more likely to do it if we're doing it together. And I think that that's just been so sweet and nice.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, I've been really trying to get out of bed because I get in bed and it is so hard for me. You might be thinking, well, then do your routine before you get in bed. It's a great idea. I don't know why I don't. I get in bed and then I'm like, I got to get up and brush my teeth and wash my face. But that was also a resolution for me this year is like every night doing a night routine.
You really sneak into bed. You sneak into bed. I will go to the bathroom for 1 second and then I'll come out and you're gone. We were like in the living room watching a show or whatever. You're just fully gone.
I'm in my bed.
You're in the bed, still kind of in clothes. You're like not in your pajamas. You're not ready for bed, but you're under the covers and you're like, good night. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, we still have to get ready for bed.
I know, but I'm really trying to do night routine because I think I was like, I want to be waking up earlier. But what that really is just changing my night routine, which is so much easier because I'm in no control in the morning. Like I am not in control of my body in the morning. Like if I had to go to war, I would be, and it was at 6 a.m. This is a bad example.
Yes, that's the reason why you wouldn't be good at war. It would be too early.
My point was, even if it was something so important, and I guess the most important thing I can think of is war. I don't know why.
Kendahl's a real warhead. She loves war.
Nothing's more important. No, that's not what I think. But
thanks for clarifying.
I don't want a soundbite of me saying I love war.
I love war.
But I'm just saying, even if it's the most important thing, I have a tough time getting out of bed. I'm not a person who like sleeps through my alarm and misses appointments. Like I'm not like that. But I just if the only motivation is like to better my life, there's no me getting out of bed. But I have a lot of control at night. So I was like, if I can make myself go to sleep by 10 p.m.
Sure.
And then it's just like I don't have to really think about it because setting my alarm for 6:30 isn't that crazy. It's like the same as setting it for 9 if I went to bed at midnight. Anyways, so I'm really trying to do a nighttime routine. And the teeth thing, I just have so much sympathy for because I have genetically really great teeth. Well, not the form of them because I've had a lot of braces. So if left to their own devices, they're very crooked. But just like the health of my teeth, I've never had a cavity.
Insane.
Or I might have had one cavity. I can't fully remember, but it was a cavity where my dentist told me years in advance, this tooth is going to have a cavity because there's like a divot in it and you can't do anything about it. So we just have to wait and then we'll so I think that might have happened. But besides that, I've never had like a self-induced cavity.
So my teeth are like that, but all
of
over.
them. Because what I will say is, just to out myself, in high school, I don't know how much I was really brushing my teeth, to be honest. Like
Sure.
in the morning, sure. We were not brushing our teeth at night. Even into adulthood, I got into a bad habit of brushing my teeth not at night. Very gross. Flossing, never heard of her.
Sure.
Go to the dentist. I'm always met with, great job, looks great, looks awesome. Jordan, I've never had a dentist say anything rude to me. They're like, you look amazing, everything looks great. I just simply don't take that great care of my teeth. And when I started dating Jordan, I was amazed because you always had so many issues when you went to the dentist. You always got kind of reamed. They were like, there's a lot of bad stuff happening. Jordan flosses. First of all, brushes your teeth like 3 times a day, flosses, water pick, tongue scraper. I'm like, it's insane. It's like an 8-step routine. And I was like, wow, it really is. I knew that, but it really is wild how genetic it is.
And this brings up a fight that we might be about to have.
Oh my God.
Have you used the new tongue scraper I got you?
Here we go. No, I haven't.
Why?
I don't know.
You're being really weird about it. You're acting like it's gross to use a tongue scraper, but
think
it's gross to not use a tongue scraper.
I know. Well, first of all, I brush my tongue, so I'm not like just leaving my tongue for
No,
the
it's
wolves,
not
but
the same.
I know. I don't know what about it kind of grosses me out.
I
know
asked
it's
you
wrong.
if you would use it before I bought
thought
it for
I
you.
would, and now I'm
yes.
looking at it and it scares me, but I'm going to use it.
You have to use it.
No, I will.
It's
will
really
use
good
it.
for you,
I'll
and you
use it
told me
tonight.
you wanted one.
I know. I don't know what it's like. The metal on my tongue. I don't know.
You're going to like the way it feels.
Oh, wait a minute. I've become
You're gonna like the
addicted
way
to
it feels.
it.
Yeah. You make me do it to you.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into audience questions.
Woohoo! So we, every single week on our podcast, if you're new,
Yeah, if you're new, welcome.
we talk about a topic and then we go and we ask you guys questions on social media. There's many forums and places you can ask us questions. We always post the questions on Instagram, so you can ask us there. You can ask us on our Patreon, which I just need to plug really fast because we've got a lot of fun stuff going on over there. In fact, today we're filming a vlog about our first day back in filming that's going to go on Patreon. We do mini-sodes every single week on our Patreon. We have a bunch of fun stuff going on over there. So you can ask questions there as well, or you can email us your questions at hwhlpodquestions@gmail.com. If you especially have a longer question that needs details in them, we're obsessed with that. And yeah, so let's get into them.
So today we're talking about new year, new me, relationship resolutions, and this is what the people want to know. Our first question is, I'd love to hear your opinions about how to best handle body image related resolutions, especially if yours differ from your partner's.
Oh, that's a good question.
I think that's a really good question.
I think it's really important to know why you're making the resolutions.
Big time.
I think if you have one partner who's like, I want to do 75 hard and do the keto diet and juice the first 2 weeks of the year, and it's all for maybe aesthetic purposes, and then the other partner is maybe really trying to like love themselves the way they are, this gets into a kind of complicated thing. But what I will say is we should all be prioritizing our health. So I think there is a way to connect with any person on goals relating to health. So I don't think they need to be the exact same. I don't think you and your partner, in my opinion, need to have the same habits when it comes to health. We don't. I feel like you're healthier in some ways than I am and vice versa. Or we care about different things that we have to, or like even with the teeth stuff, it's like you need to prioritize that more. I have lupus, you don't. So with a lot of stuff like that, it can get different. And I think that's fine. But there's so many things when it comes to health that every human being needs, which is like exercise, vegetables, water. And I think if you can connect on some of those and push each other, that can create a healthy balance. What do you think?
I agree. I think that's really smart. I also think the big thing for me is just be careful how you talk about stuff. If your partner is like really trying to get physically fit, don't talk about it like it's stupid, even if you don't agree with necessarily what they're doing. As long as it's not unhealthy, they're not hurting themselves. Try to be kind and try to be supportive about it. If your partner is not trying to work on physical fitness, but they're trying to work on their mental health, their relationship with food, hype that up. Just no matter what it is, try to talk about it positively. And even more importantly, I would say, try to talk about yourself positively.
Yeah.
So if you're working out all the time, trying to lose weight and being like, I'm so fat, and your partner's trying to work on their relationship to food, that is not kind. You also shouldn't be talking about yourself that way. I've noticed that the way that you talk about yourself really affects your partner.
Yeah.
And it really to me at least feels like it says a lot about me when Kendahl feels something about herself. And whether that's good or bad or intentional or accidental that she's saying these things that are making me feel that way, I think it's something worth noting. So talk kindly about yourself, talk kindly about your partner, hype each other up, and both of you be like normal, healthy. Just be normal, healthy, you know?
Yeah.
That's something that has helped us, is both of us trying to find a healthy middle ground for mental and physical health.
Yeah. Well, because too, it's like when you're dating someone, you can't make them not do a thing they want to do. So if you have a partner who really wants to get ripped, like they're like, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit because I'm like gotten a little more into the gym and I'm like, I want to be able to do a pull up. Like I want to be, you know, I want to be a little more physically strong. They're going to do that whether or not you make them feel like they can talk to you about it or not. And I think if you make them feel embarrassed by that, or you make them feel, and this could go for anything, you make them feel like embarrassed, or you make them feel kind of like it's stupid, they're just going to be more kind of like to themselves about it. And that's like never positive and good. So if you're open, if they're like, well, when you talk about it, it makes me feel this way, and you guys can talk about it a little more openly, and they can understand the importance of hyping you up still, even if it's not a goal they have, like you said, I think that is really important. But I think sometimes people get like, well, that's not my goal, so I'm just not related to this at all. I think that doesn't make someone feel supported.
I also think this is a little contradictory to what I said earlier, but I think both are important. Even though what your partner says about themselves does affect you, your partner's goals are not about you.
Yeah.
So if your partner wants to do XYZ, something different with their body that you don't want to do with your body, they're not asking you to do that with your body. They're telling you what they want to do with their body. So try not to internalize that.
And if they are asking you to do that with your body, you can be like, hey, I'm not interested in that. Like, that's a different conversation. Like, they shouldn't make you feel like you need to do what they're doing unless they're like, I'm trying to cut out soda, please do it with me because I need support.
Or like, we both need to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Any advice on making a subpar living situation more homey? This year, I would love to work on making our house a better environment for me and my partner, but it seems impossible due to monetary restrictions and sharing space with other people. I would love to improve things for us and stop treating our current situation like a halfway point, always hoping for the next thing and not enjoying what we have. I think that is such a good thing to start out with, is a positive mindset like that. So I feel like you're already on the right track.
Yeah.
I think a big thing that I love to do if I'm feeling the impulse to shop or refresh my space or whatever, cleaning is pretty much free. Even if you don't have cleaning products, take a washcloth, wet it, run it along the floorboards of your house. It will make your space feel so new and refreshed. Also, I think sometimes Kendahl and I both grew up moving around a decent amount. I grew up moving around a lot. And then in our early adulthood, both Kendahl and I had very kind of transient lives in New York. You don't live anywhere very long because they constantly raise your rent. So you move a lot. And I got into a bad habit with this where I didn't have money and I didn't want to like put up paintings or anything because I was like, well, I'm going to move in a year. I'm not going to do all this stuff to this space. But just a nice clean, maybe moving a piece of furniture, going to Trader Joe's once a week, buying a bouquet of flowers and putting that out. Not very expensive, but a little thing you could do to add some life to your space. Opening a window. I know that sounds wild, but when I'm like, my house is feeling not good and I open a window, I'm like, things are different. Like getting some fresh air into the space. Yeah. Those are all things that I would recommend if you don't want to spend hardly any money. And then Kendahl and I love going to estate sales. It's a great affordable way to find cool, unique things for your house, not spend a ton of money. You can kind of haggle at a lot of them.
Well, and one of our resolutions this year was shopping our closet. Which I think can play into this a little bit, where we really just wanted to like create less waste and stop buying so many new things. And I think that's why the painting was so exciting.
The painting was huge for us.
It was truly one man's trash is another man's treasure type
it's two
of
lesbians'
moment.
Treasure, yeah.
I mean, because it's now the centerpiece of our home. It was on the side of the road. It's the centerpiece of our home now.
It's beautiful. We'll post it on the Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obsessed with it. And so I think looking inward first, looking in your house and being like, what do I love? What's a thing that I love and how can I display it in a better way? Because I think when Jordan and I first met, that was one of my issues with the way Jordan was kind of decorating their home is I was like, it's not that you have a ton of stuff, you do, but it's that you have a lot of these things where I'll be like, do you want this? Do you like this? And Jordan will be like, that's really special. Like, I got this at this estate sale. It was so cool. And I'm like, great. Then why is it in the corner covered in dust? Like, then let's put it on a shelf and display it. Like, let's give it the respect it deserves. You know what I mean? Or
Sure.
there'd be something like stored under your bed that you were like, well, I was like, this is beautiful. And I know it's important to you, but giving it away is showing it more respect than what you're doing with it now. I'm like, let's display it. So I think looking sorry to roast you. But I think we do better about that now. Like we really display our little tchotchkes and things in a way that feels really fun and cool. And when we walk in our house, I feel like, oh, it's so us. It's just all of our stuff and the things that we love and the things that we've collected over the years. And so I think finding the stuff you like, displaying it a little more, cleaning is such a great tip, and going to estate sales. And I also, this is more of an idea to help you get motivated. But sometimes I really think it's important to find one day a month or every couple months to invite a couple people over to your house, because I think it makes your brain have to be like, how am I going to make this a space I'm proud of? And maybe you're a person who's not motivated by company and then don't take this tip. But I know for me, when I know people are coming over, I really want to set up my space the way that I'd want to present it. And it can just motivate me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great tip. So I've been in a relationship for a little over a year. I love that we've gotten into a routine together, but I want to make sure we don't get into a rut or lose the spark. What are some things you guys do / would recommend for us to stay spontaneous and fun in 2025?
Well, what I will say is you will not always have your spark. I think a spark comes and goes, in my opinion. I think we always have a spark. I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, black, blah, well, I'm not interested in Jordan at all. Obviously that's not happened. But we definitely go through periods, I'd say, where do you agree? A little more work, we're working a lot and we get into kind of a routine versus moments where it's ebbs and flows.
I think for me, I wouldn't say we ebb and flow in our spark. I would say we ebb and flow in our spontaneity and in our funness.
I think that's what I mean, because to me, a spark is kind of we get along very well and we're very close and we're good friends, separate even from being in a relationship. So I think it's we always enjoy our time together. Yeah. But I think there can, when you get into a place, I feel like we had this a little bit at the end of the year. It's work was really stressful. Life was kind of stressful. Just a lot was stressful. So it becomes kind of just we're both separately trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
And I think don't panic in moments like that.
Yeah, don't see it as a reflection of your relationship. Just see it as a reflection of what's going on in your lives. Because there's always going to be times when something bad happens or things are really stressful or really, really busy, really crazy, whatever, where it might not feel like the number one most important thing in my life right now is spontaneity and fun within my relationship. It doesn't mean you're not in love. It doesn't mean you don't love each other. You're not taking care of each other. It doesn't mean you're being bad to each other. I just think you have to realize that like anything else, it's not every moment of your life is right now I'm having the most fun with my hobby, or right now I'm working the hardest on my mental health or whatever. It's you can't be firing on all cylinders
all the time. And I think people do that sometimes. I'll see, not that that's happening in this question, but I see sometimes people, however their life is going, they make it a reflection of their relationship. If their relationship is if their life is good, their relationship is good. If their life is bad, the relationship is why it's bad. It's very connected in a way that I don't feel like we do very much. No. We can have a bad week and I'm it's not related to our relationship because our relationship isn't bad. And then we'll have a couple weeks where we're arguing a lot. And then I'm our relationship is having something going on right now versus when I'm just stressed because tax season is happening. That has nothing to do with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but even though I will say I think it is always helpful to acknowledge what you're doing, because most of the time when we have a couple weeks where we've just been kind of more than normal, we have to stop and be what's going on that's making us be like this right now?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's oh, this thing is stressful. This thing is stressful. I'm struggling with this thing, whatever. And you got to talk it out before you walk it out, of course. But I think to stay more fun and spontaneous in 2025, I will recommend something that Kendahl's always yelling at me about. You got to put your phone down. You got to put your phone down and you got to get out and you got to go do something. Even if it's a walk around your neighborhood at night.
I want us to start doing that more.
I know.
I want us to be.
I said it. I
going
just
on
told
walks.
everyone
I
as
know,
advice.
but we don't do that. But I would love to go on like nightly walks because I take Angel out anyways. I'm like, just come with me.
Yeah. So a walk around your neighborhood, go see a movie. And then after the movie, even if you don't want to spend like $1 million on a dinner, go sit at a coffee shop and like have one coffee. Go have like one drink, whatever, and talk about the movie. Like do stuff because sometimes it is really hard to have fun, spontaneous, stimulating conversation with someone you are with 24/7 if you're not doing anything else. And it's the same thing with anything. It's like if you're trying to be creative in your own life, you have to go out and do stuff because you have to have stuff to pull from. You can't just like exist in a vacuum. So don't get stuck in the habit of like being in your house too much, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, I'm trying to spend less money this year, there's like tons of ways to do fun stuff without spending money.
Well, like a couple weeks ago, this is spending money, but a couple weeks ago, sorry, I love to spend.
That's true.
A couple weeks ago on your lunch break, you came and grabbed me and you were like, hey, can I pick you up for lunch? And I was like, oh my God, okay. And we went out to sushi and it was so nice and it was quick and we both went back to work after and it didn't take up versus I think sometimes I look at my calendar and I'm like, we need to go on a date. When's the day I have fully free? It's like, you don't need a full day to go on a date, but it feels, you could do 30 minutes. It doesn't really matter. But I think that's nice. I also think though, on that, just to add to that, is to find peace in the silence, non-spontaneity, like,
the
comfort of that. Like, I think there is something really nice about being like, here's a person that knows everything about me. I don't really need to tell them anything right now. I don't feel pressure to talk to them on this car ride because we have a peaceful, stable relationship. I don't feel like I need to prove anything and like enjoying that peace, but also knowing that like that type of stagnant's the wrong word, but that type of, you know,
I think it's relaxation.
It's not going to last forever.
Oh, wait, say it again.
I'm trying to word it right. That type of like, oh, we don't have anything to talk about right now. It's not always gonna. That's not it forever.
Oh,
so
I think
enjoy
it's
the
calmness.
Peace of it. Yes,
I think just like enjoy the calm moments because there will be so many moments that aren't calm.
Yeah, and it's not like you're never gonna have anything to talk about again. But how special is that? Instead of viewing it as a negative thing, it's kind of like that's peace. That's like a person knows everything. You don't feel pressure to say anything. Like we drive to Spotify and I'm playing games on my phone. And we're not like gabbing about our dreams. But I think when we first started dating and I dealt a little more with like anxious attachment, I did feel this pressure to be like, I need to have really stimulating conversation with you all the time because I wanted to like show you I was a cool, fun partner. And I don't feel that way anymore. Clearly, I've really gone off the deep end. I'm just kidding. I don't feel that way anymore. So I do feel comfortable just being like, I'm going to play games on my phone unless you want to talk about something. And then we can talk about something because I feel peace, which is really nice.
I think another way to keep things fun and spontaneous is to chase each other around the house.
We do that a lot.
I know that sounds silly, but sometimes Kendahl will just be doing the dishes or something, and then I'll just walk over and I'll just kind of give her a little goose or a little tickle, and then she'll kind of jump, and then I'll chase her around the house.
But be careful because stubbing your toe is very easy if you live in a small
Kendahl
space.
has this insane fear of stubbing her toe.
Well, it's not insane. I broke my toe doing it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. What are you talking about? Last year, I will show you a picture on my phone, Jordan. My toe was broken. It was broke bad. It was literally black and blue last year. I stubbed it before a Zoom meeting and cried the whole Zoom meeting with my microphone off. Do you not remember how bad it was?
I remember that you hurt your toe and you stubbed your toe.
I'll show you a photo of it.
We never went to the doctor.
Because you don't go, no. Quite enough from you. Listen, it was broken. I can tell you, I know what a broken toe looks like. You don't go to the doctor for a broken toe.
I know what a broken toe looks like.
I do. My mom broke her toe. I know what a broken toe looks like. I broke my toe. It was black and blue and swollen. I couldn't walk on it. But you don't go to a doctor for a broken pinky toe because they cannot do anything for it, Jordan.
Okay.
So maybe that's, and in the moment, you also agreed it was broken. And your mom looked at it and said it was broken.
She said it could be broken.
Yeah, well, absolutes, as we've learned, is not a good way to talk, but it
I'm
was definitely
just saying,
broken. But I am scared, and anytime
Kendahl...
you walk, I'm like, be careful, Jordan, you're going to stub your toe. It scares me. I don't want you to feel pain. God forbid. Sorry, I'll let you just stub your toe, and you see how it feels.
Kendahl's just very dramatic, as you could see from that last statement. But Kendahl ran into the car door yesterday with her shoulder and immediately looks up at me and she goes, do you think it's broken?
Well, tell them what happened. It was a very traumatizing
Well, Kendahl was in the car
experience.
wearing a wig, filming a video, and then our neighbors walked out of our house, and Kendahl got scared, so she threw the wig off and tried to hide behind the car.
And I hit my
she
shoulder
hit her
really
shoulder
hard,
on the
and
car
I
door,
screamed.
and she immediately looked at me and said, "Do you think it's broken?" And I was like, "No." As someone who's broken many, many bones, no, it is not broken from running into the car door. Your shoulder.
Well, ask a biker who's broken his entire body from running into a car door that. And see what
You
he
didn't
said.
run into a car door like that.
I hit it.
You hit your shoulder onto the side.
But we
of
don't
the door.
have a lot of information. We don't know what my bone density is. Would you just, be sweet for 2 seconds?
We're gonna go get a bone density test after this just to be sure. But no, but
They're
Kendahl
like, her
always,
bones are like uncooked noodles.
yeah, they're all
They're
broken.
all
I'm like,
broken.
whoa, sorry. Kendahl just always thinks she broke something, but you've never had a big bone break.
That's not true. I broke my arm when I was growing up on the monkey bars, and I had to have surgery. It was broken in 2 places. My arm looked like this. I can show you the cast.
But don't you remember then when you broke your arm? It was like blinding pain.
Well, sure, but a toe is not breaking my arm into 3
But
pieces.
your shoulder. If you broke
Yeah,
your
the shoulder was traumatic. Maybe I
Okay,
was
okay.
seeking some attention.
Okay, and that's all.
Maybe
and that's
I
all
needed
was
some
looking for. Okay, and
attention
that's all I was
because you
looking
weren't
for. Thank
giving
you.
me
Okay, and that's
any.
what I was looking for. I love you. Thank you.
Next question.
My crush rejected me and it's cool, but he's still texting me. How do I get over him in 2025?
Remember that he's a loser. Here's what I'll tell you. I have known people very well who surround themselves with only people who have crushes on them. I've known multiple of them, and they're psychotic people. Think about that. How weird that is. People are like, oh, my best friend, they told me they had a crush on me a year ago. I'm sorry, yeah, if you're my best friend, you told me you had a crush on me, I wouldn't be your best friend anymore. That's not a best friend. And it's unfortunate. It doesn't mean the person did anything wrong, but I think people are like, what if I tell my friend that I have a crush on them and then it ruins our friendship? Your friendship's already ruined. You don't have a real friendship. A friendship is someone, a true, okay, you can have a casual friend, but a best friend, you cannot have a crush on them and that be a good best friend. There's too many layers. It's too weird. I don't know. But also when they start dating someone, you're going to be a bad friend. It just doesn't make sense. So I've known multiple people where all their friends are people who have a crush on them and they know they've had a crush on them, but they're like, I can make this work. We can still be friends. That is weird. That is a person who needs to be the most powerful person in every room. That is a person who cannot have a friendship without an imbalanced power dynamic. That is a person who's obsessed with attention. And that is a person who is ultimately a loser. And guess what? A bunch of people don't have a crush on them because they're cool and because they're amazing. People have a crush on them because they are manipulative people who make you feel like you're grasping at straws for anything from them. And your trauma has caused you to be attracted to them. So they've attracted this small group of people that needs that one specific thing from them. And it's weird.
She's right.
Period. Done. Next.
She's right. She's 100% right. And I think in terms of you getting over them, block their number. Block their number. Unfollow them on Instagram. Goodbye. Stop looking. They need to stop texting you. That's so weird. Tell them to stop texting you. None of that. Absolutely none of that. That's ridiculous. How do I inspire change in myself when I'm bringing so much from 2024 into the new year? I think this is hard because ultimately new year is fake, right? It's all just kind of the same amounts of time and they're arbitrary things that we've made up. That being said, I really do like to envision the new year as a new little period of time, a refresher, a reset, whatever helps you when you're thinking of it. I think mentally make that change. Be like, last year was 2024. This year was 2025. That being said, you got to make a pros and cons list of last year. You have to make a list for this year, then too, that is manifestations, goals, resolutions, whatever. Really set yourself up for success and put fun ones on there. One of my manifestations for this year is that I want to receive one piece of fashion PR. Probably won't happen, but I would like to. Would be fun. Could be fun, but I probably won't, but it's still fun. Not all of your resolutions, goals, manifestations, whatever, need to be get into the best shape of my life. You can have fun ones. I want to read one book a month. That feels fun to me. I want to watch more movies that are not in English. That's fun. I want to get back to cooking more. Put stuff on there that feels fun and don't feel like you have to leave everything from 2024 in 2024, but just try to be I'm still me. I'm just doing a refresh.
Well, and just remembering that you're completely in control. Like, I feel like last year, poor Jordan had to sit through our anniversary dinner where I just cried the whole time. You remember that?
I do.
Because Jordan was like, how are you? How do you feel like this year went? And I was like, it was terrible. Nothing to do with our relationship. Our relationship was great, but my year was not good. And it was hard because I was like, on paper, my year should have been great. Like, if we wrote down everything I did, it's like, oh my God, best year of your life. No, because my brain was not letting me have the best year of my life. I was not letting myself have the best year of my life. And I remember at that, and this was months ago, so I felt like I had to figure it out over the next couple months and why 2025 is going better. I was like, whatever I did last year is not working. Like, I cannot do that again. And I think there's like a saying, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's very general, but I feel like it's true, which is like, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Oh.
And I think it's like, yeah, your life will not change if you do not change. I think people sometimes set the goal without setting the little goals in between that are going to help them get there. And it's like, get in better shape. Okay, in what way? You're just going to get, if you keep living the same way you've been living, like, well, you won't get in better shape. I want to read more, but you have put in no small things that are going to make you like, okay, I'm going to read 1 page every day. You've done nothing like that to make yourself get to that goal.
Yeah, set the smaller goals to build a bigger goal.
Yeah, they talked about that in like, I think it was the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I don't know, I read it in like middle school.
Okay.
They made us read it. And they talk about you put your big pebbles you picture a jar, take your big pebbles first. These are like your huge goals. Like if I was like, I want to be on SNL, that'd be a huge rock because it's like, what are you gonna do this year that's gonna help you get on SNL? And then you get your smaller pebbles that kind of fall in between those, and you put those in next, which are like, okay, what are the kind of bigger things though that I'm gonna do and then the little pebbles, and then like the sand. And the sand is like every day, what are you gonna do that is going to help? Maybe it's writing. Every day I'm gonna write for 10 minutes a script. And that stuff is, I think, what's actually important. And the big goals, really, you have to kind of just set in a closet and be like, that's none of my business, because hopefully the little goals will help me get there. But I think when it comes to just being inspired in the new year, you have to be like, this is up to me. No one else cares. Like, no one else cares what I do. I am in charge of making my life good. And I think when you realize, like, and of course, we could get into how healthcare in this country sucks and everything sucks and whatever. Yeah, that's all out of your control. So I'm not saying if you think for a better life for yourself, everything will be resolved, but you are in charge of a lot. And what I will say as a person who, had a great year on paper last year, who felt mentally really bad, my year this year has been much more mundane in the first 6 days, and I've had such a better time because of what's going on the inside. And so I think just remembering you're in control.
And if you do all those things, you will be able to have what everyone wants, a jar full of pebbles and sand.
And you can polish that.
And you can polish it. And you can
set that on your window.
If you polish a pebble with sand, it turns into a diamond. A lot of people don't know that.
You're going to be rich by the end of this year. You're going to be a millionaire by the end of this year.
All right, well, those are all the questions we have for this episode. If you want to hear the answer to more bonus questions, you can head over to our Patreon, where we do weekly mini-sodes where we answer additional questions, talk about more additional private secret Patreon stuff. It's pretty good. There's a bunch of tiers. You should go join.
And before we head out, get ready for yet another segment, which is a really quick couple of the week. Couple of the week can be anyone. But this week, we're starting out with Zendaya and Tom Holland, who just got engaged.
It seems like they're engaged. They haven't announced it, but she was wearing a huge rock at the Golden Globes.
Oh my God.
She seemed really excited. People kept coming up to her and being like, oh my God. And people kept being like, let me see. Like, those are the kind of reactions and faces I've seen. So apparently they're engaged, and I'm really happy for them. And I think it's cool that they haven't said anything about it.
Very private, very healthy, very cute. And their house, you can look at it online, is gorgeous.
I love that. If we were as famous as they were, you would never know one singular thing about me.
I know. I really am working until I get to one specific place, and then I will disappear off the face of the earth. I will ride off on my horse.
It would be incredible.
I will own a farm. I will have goats. I will have sheep. I'll have my alpacas finally. It's going to be incredible. So there are a couple of week. Congratulations.
And something to know about couple of the week is, as Kendahl said, it could be any celebrity. It could be anything. It could be any person, including you and your partner. So feel free to message us at Happy Wife, Happy Life Pod Questions if you and your partner want to be couple of the week, and you just might be.
Yeah, just submit. What do they submit? Photo of themselves?
Whatever you want. Whatever you think will make you a couple of the week.
I love
You
that.
can send a photo. You can send a story. You can send whatever. and you might be our couple of the week.
I love it. Thank you so much for listening. As always, we're recording in the wonderful Spotify offices. We are so grateful and excited for our new studio that we have. We literally love it. We feel so profesh. And finally have an angle that doesn't make me want to die.
Oh, this angle is good. And it gets so much of the outfit I love.
People always comment, they're like, the angle of this is terrible in season 1. And we're like, you think we don't know that? We wish.
We've seen it.
We've seen, you think we said that's the best angle. Thank you so much. So this is incredible. We feel so excited and we love Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, make sure to rate and review. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we can't wait for season 2. We have so many fun things planned. And Jordan, I just adore you and I can't wait to do this podcast.
I love you so much. And we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.